It's time to put it all on the line here for race number 9. It's the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series at Las Vegas tonight. It is the European Wax Center 300 for the race number 9 of the season. Drivers are getting prepared and ready for tonight's adventure at this 1.5-mile course. For that of 150 laps, 300 miles of non-stop action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth and running production is going to be that of Robert Moyer Jr., who will be joining me just shortly here, but we've got practice underway. About 2.5 minutes still left, as you can see on our top left, and these drivers excited, amped up. You see a lot of different names on the board at the top. We got Trevor Earhart, Gregory Shaw, Tom Sinchek, our winner from last week at Michigan, Thomas Walter, Max Boner, Ryan Bird, and that of Patrick Hernandez, Ferraro, Kralik, and Zach Hall going to be your top 10, but these times all based off of the draft on why they're so fast. So we might see a lot of new drivers on top of the board here once qualifying gets started in just 2 minutes. Can't wait for these drivers to get ready, but this is going to be our last race of this series. Going to be for that of 2021. The drivers will be back on Saturday racing action, that of January 8th. That is when we will be back, so we got to make sure it's a good one. Close out 2021 for the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series, and what a place to be at Las Vegas. 1.5 minutes left in practice, and we bring in Robert Moyer into the booth. Robert, excited for tonight's racing. It's going to be pack racing, a lot of fast action, and these drivers have no fast repair to work with.
That is correct, Sam. It's going to be fun to watch these guys here at Las Vegas Speedway. It's a great track to race. It's a very fun track to race, but like you noted there, bud, it is gonna be tough. It's pack racing until these tires wear down a little bit. These guys are gonna be all over each other for the good 10 to 15 laps, so they're gonna have to make sure what they do and communicate with their spotters and all the other drivers out there on what moves you want to make, because you know the last thing you want to do is have no fast repairs and you get something caught up going into turn 1 or turn 2 or even 3 and 4 and could ruin your whole entire night.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, since they've implemented the rule of no fast repair, we've seen a lot of very clean racing like we saw last week. Robert, you even called the race for that one at Michigan. The only yellow that was thrown was for the stage break. Besides that, everyone else stayed very clean, and I think we're expecting very similar things here tonight, but it's pack racing at a 1.5-mile course that can get loose out of these corners, and with how close everyone's going to be, wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a couple of cautions here early on at Las Vegas.
Well, that's what I was just ready to say. You took the words right out of my mouth there, sir. You know, Michigan is a different beast than it is at Las Vegas, as we all know. Michigan, you got a little bit more room to work. You can go 3, 4 wide, sometimes 5 wide, depending on where you're out in the track at Michigan. Here at Las Vegas, yeah, you don't want to go 3 wide. It's not saying it's not doable, but it's risky and it's hairy, and that's the last thing you want to do is, you know, wreck yourself out. But you noted right. I mean, since they put in the no fast repair rule, drivers have calmed down and drivers have realized I can't win it on lap 1, can't win it on lap 2. And you can't win it on lap 50. You know, you got to make it to the end of the race to be able to even have a shot at getting the victory. So a lot of these drivers are very well known to iRacing. They understand the game of iRacing. They understand the physics and they understand the tire wear. So that goes a long way, Sam, when you got people that understand and get what not to do at certain times. You know, sometimes there's times you're going to want to make that pass. Sometimes it's like, you know what, it's not worth it right now.
Yeah, and you know, for a lot of these drivers, I think they're noting on that a lot of, hey, we can be patient. There's a long race, 150 laps here tonight. Stage break for these drivers going to be at the end of lap 69, so they got to make sure they're in the top 5 if you want those bonus points. But if you want to make sure you get a good finish, you got to be patient and hope that you're set there at the end. As we take a look at drivers getting started for their first qualifying lap. Those are just getting finished with their warm-up lap, and we see that of Ryan Bird in the 49 going to be coming out of turn number 4, starting his lap. And for a lot of these drivers, qualifying can be very important, but because of the way that this, really the aero package for these Gen 6 cars are, these cup machines we're going to be on top of one another, constant pack racing. It's going to be a lot of drivers on top of one another until, like you noted on, we start to see drivers' tire wear go down, and these drivers get affected a little bit more. But you're going to be on top of one another, going to be very easy to make passes, so qualifying might not be the most important thing here tonight as drivers putting down their first lap. And currently, it's that of Jesse Thordick's going to be on top of the board as we see Ryan Bird going to be moving himself up to second as Max Boner going to be taking that pole position currently.
Oh, that's a great lap there from Max, but we'll see here. Oh, we got Light moving up into number 3 with 30.16 to Foner's 30.18 there. I mean, look at these lap times though right now as we got Mark Whitley moving on up to almost into the 29s, and wow, look at it as we got the board just shuffling left and right, up and down here, Sam.
Yeah, it's going to be shuffling a lot. These drivers did have a practice race on Thursday, which in that practice race, Aaron Kralik was actually the driver that got the pole position. And we'll see if the 01 can get on top of the board as Vincent Soares is now going to be in second. James Loveland's going to be in third. And I was talking to some of the drivers earlier on, and I even told James this myself. I feel like this 56 might be my dark horse for tonight. We've seen him be successful in the Underdog Racing League series Wednesday nights, where the 56 is shown very good whenever there's tire wear factor being involved at a racetrack. We'll see how well he does here tonight as more drivers putting some faster lap times down. Still, Mark Whitley with his 30.082 second lap time, still top of the board currently, as got a couple of other drivers still trying to put down their fastest lap. Here comes Zach Hall. He's going to be getting himself up to 5th as we see that of Nick Crawford, our Daytona winner, coming out of turn number 4. We'll see what type of a run the 11 can get for himself. Down across the line and topping the board, gonna be our Thursday night pole sitter, that of Aaron Kralik, does it again, but for the actual race, Nick Crawford is gonna be moving up himself up to 8th position. As now we see that of Gregory Shaw, one of the most aggressive drivers we always note on throughout the week. And gotta say, this 66 rocking a DoorDash machine, trying to be a little bit more stand out than what he's been doing, and coming across the line, we'll see what the 66 has as he goes down, trying to get us close to that grass as possible. And Gregory Shaw gonna be moving up to 9th place for the 66 machine.
Are you looking at the scoring pylon right now, Sam? Look at the times. First, second tied. Then we got 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th tied. Then we got 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Is there more? 10th? Yeah, 10th. Tied, and then 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Oh my! They are literally. What was the point of qualifying?
It is from first all the way down to that of 19th, all within 1/1,000th of a set. I mean, 100th, 1/10th. Excuse me. I can get through all the numbers. Yeah, 1/10 of one another, and I gotta say that is incredible to show in qualifying, and it's kind of similar to what we see at super speedways when times are this close. It's going to be all about the draft, side drafting with one another. All those factors are going to be thrown in. And Robert, it's going to be a good show as qualifying ticks away. We are now getting done with qualifying currently. It's time for us to get ready for our qualifying results to pop up. But Aaron Kralik going to be getting our pole position. Congratulations to the 01 for getting that pole position for himself. But now the pressure is on, Robert. It is race time. 150 laps here tonight, 300 miles. And these drivers are going to have a stage break at that of lap 69. At the end of lap 69, to take a look at our qualifying results. Pole position, go to Aaron Kralik, as well as Mark Whitley. He's going to be to his outside. Then in row number 2, in 3rd place, going to be Vincent Soares with Tom Sinchek to his outside. James Loveland in 5th. Zach Hall in 6th. 7th goes to the Thomas Walter. Nick Crawford in 8th. 9th, Gregory Shaw, and in finishing out our top 10, it's going to be that of Maurice Gomillion.
Starting in 11th position here tonight, Sam, is going to be Ryan. Starting in 12th is going to be Cedric Hunter, with outside of him is going to be in the 13th position here, Patrick Martin in 14th, and we got Trevor here in the number 25. Actually, our underdog champion. He beat Jason Finsler Wednesday night to win the championship at Underdog. So let's see if he can carry that momentum on in here to Saturday night here with the NAISCC Cup Series. And then starting behind him here is going to be our outsider behind wherever. Ryan Johnson is going to be starting in 16th position with Alex Light in 17th position, and Ryan Bird is going to be in 18th position, and going to your 19th position is going to be James Tremble with 19th position Max Holder, and 20th is James Tremble. I do apologize for that, sir. And you can see the rest of the field here. Let's see here, Sam. See where everybody else is starting.
It's going to be that of Jesse Thordick. It's going to be in 21st. Dakota Moniz, Dylan Walterman, Ryan Lewis, Ethan Smith, and that of Aaron Jackson. Now, Ethan Smith and Aaron Jackson didn't put down a time, but they also didn't put in that much practice time either. So we'll see what the double zero and the 18 has for us here tonight. But the drivers are now rolling and getting ready to race here at Las Vegas. And Robert, when we think of Las Vegas, you think of pack racing. These drivers are going to be on top of one another, but also cold tires on a cold surface here tonight. These first couple of laps are going to be very touch and go on how aggressive these drivers want to be, because you know if you've got the freshest tires, but at the same time, you don't want to get loose and cause a big one, taking out multiple drivers.
That is correct. I mean, that's we talked about it in the pre-race. You know, be careful with the tires. You know, we're going to let these things get warmed up here, Sam, as we get ready to go down here into turn 3 and 4 here. It's going to take a couple laps, and we're going to see what these guys can do here. Patience, 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 because they're going to be on top of each other, but we're getting ready for green flag there, Sam.
Here we go. It's going to be that of Aaron Kralik, Mark Whitley, Vincent Sora, Thompson, Jack, and James Loveland. Going to be your top 5. Ready to get going. Get yourself prepared. Make sure you look good, you feel good. Go to that European Wax Center to make sure you look fabulous, as it's going to be green flag out here at Las Vegas. Aaron Kralik's already on the loud pedal, same as Mark Whitley, and we're side by side on the front stretch, getting ready to go into turn number 1. It's going to be out of turn 2 when these drivers are going to be at their scariest moments, as they're already bump drafting to the entry of the corner. Vincent Sora got to be careful not to take out Kralik as they're coming out of turn number 2. They're already still side by side, taking their 2 lanes. Which lane do you want to pick? Hey, you hope your lane that you're in is starting to move forward.
Oh, that's the key. Hopefully you're in the lane that's moving forward. But I do know, as Mark Whitley just got, I don't know if he got loose or if that car acted. Oh, we got problems in the back. We got cars going
wrecking
around
in the back. No caution's been thrown just yet. We still stay green, as it's going to be our underdog champion from Wednesday night, Trevor Earhart, first spin. But again, we stay green because he was off the racing surface up front. It's going to be Tom Senchek, our winner from last week in Michigan, topping the board. And a great move for the 8 machine. Aaron Kralik's going to be moving down to second, but Vincent Sora, Zach Hall, it's dangerous and almost contact. They're going to be 3 wide back for 4th place, as they might even move down to even 4 wide at moments. Mark Whitley, even after stepping out, still holding strong, but this is what Las Vegas gives you. Constant action and the unknown of who might get loose and who might get spun around.
Well, that's it. Again, we noted, and you said it, Sam, and you called it right on the nose there. Coming out of turn 3, man, or turn 4, these cars look wicked loose. These drivers are manhandling these vehicles right now. You just see it through all the way through the pack. We had it happen to the 25 of Trevor back there. He spun around. We seen Mark go into the turn, and his car got jacked up a little bit, and he saved it. We've seen other cars spinning around almost. So, I mean, now that the tires are getting warmed up here, you can see how much more stable the cars look on lap number 4 here. But just because they're stable don't mean nothing, because we got cars on top of each other all the way back through the field, from first all the way back to at least 15th position.
Yeah, it just takes one mistake, and you can see your whole entire day ending in a blink of an eye. And right now, starting to see your top 5 all single filing out. It's going to be side by side between that of Gregory Shaw and also that of Kralik and Loveland. And also now Cedric Hunter going to be putting himself into the mix. And we're starting to see drivers moving forward and others deciding to fall back, as that of Aaron Jackson not able to finish out today's race. The 18 already done. First DQ. We're left with 25 drivers as Gregory Shaw gets loose, holds on. What a save from the 66. Thought his day was about to be ending very quickly, as Shaw drops from being up in the top 10 to now all the way back to 21st.
Now, I was just ready to bring this up to you, Sam. I was watching Gregory Shaw there in that first 4 laps, and he was flying fast on the low line, but you can only do that here at Las Vegas for so many laps before them tires start to get evil on you, and that low line does not play pretty. Eventually, coming out of the corners, you've got so much wheel input into these cars to try to not slide up out to the wall, and you just seen what can happen. You just snap loose, and before you know it, that car could be going around. So, you know, he's counting his blessings right now in that DoorDash number 66 machine right now that he's even got a car to continue into this race.
Yeah, now one of our biggest movers currently up 11 positions from where he started. It's that of Brian Johnson, going to be up to 5th now. What a move for himself, up 11 positions. The next highest mover would be that of Ethan Smith, who's up 9 positions, but we are now starting to see drivers that want to get aggressive here early, and it's working out, but that early aggression, trying to make as many passes early on, could be detrimental later on in the run when we're around laps 20 to 25. And the drivers that have been waiting and moving and protecting their tires, they'll finally have their surge.
Yeah, those searching. We'll see who, like you said, who's saving tires and who's not. As we got the 56, saying wrong numbers here tonight. I do apologize to everybody, but the 56 of Loveland there, he's looking pretty strong too. And you noted on him at the beginning of the broadcast here, he is the driver to watch out for. Tire saving is crucial here at Las Vegas. You wouldn't think it would be, but the high rate of speed that these guys are running through these turns here at Las Vegas, you really got to save your tires, be patient, use the draft to your advantage, and you will slowly creep up through the field.
Yeah, and you know, we're also going to be seeing these drivers again. Once we get to lap 15 to 20, we're going to start to see the drivers start to march up a lane or two. We're seeing already through turns 1 and 2, drivers running the low line around that white line and others running in the middle. Not a lot of drivers going up to the wall just yet, but we will start to see drivers try to test that area to find a little bit more speed for themselves. But it's through 3 and 4 where we're seeing a lot more of hugging that white line, trying to stay as low as possible. Once we see drivers start to move up through 3 and 4, that's when you know those tires are at a very weak point. They're starting to lose some grip and speed. They're trying to keep that momentum up any way possible.
Yeah, going through 3 and 4 there, like you said, Sam, is the best way around track. It's the fastest way around track. And you can let the car drift up coming out of 4, you know, towards that wall and get a good run going down the front stretch to get down into turn 1. Turn 1 is, it's bumpy. You got to be careful if you're running that low line. There is a couple bumps down there that can upset the vehicle. So you'll see, and if you watch here really closely, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see where Zach Hall, see where all these guys are running, at least a lane to 2 lanes up going through 1 and 2, and then they let it drift out and keep the momentum up. But it's 3 and 4 where you can run the low line, like I said, but as these tires wear off, you're going to start seeing, like we see Carlo there in the 01, he's starting to slide up, and that's where I think a lot of people are going to eventually migrate up to, Sam.
Yeah, and also we're going to be seeing a lot more of side drafting on the straightaways. When you get side by side with someone, you try to get as close to their rear quarter panel as you can, and it's basically dragging and slowing that car down. They're not able to utilize the full momentum through the straightaway, and it could be hurting all the drivers. As you've seen there, Brian Johnson getting right to the quarter panel of Vincent Sora, slowing down the 15 on the entry of the corner and easily making the pass. That is a textbook way to make a pass here at Las Vegas. You get to that quarter panel right on the entry, so Vincent Sora cannot utilize his speed. He's just falling back like a rock. The 15, Vincent Sora, one of our favorites, now being passed by some of the most dominating cars that we've seen from last season, and coming into this one, Brian Johnson, and also our Season 3 champion, Cedric Hunter, making the moves forward. And now here comes that of Loveland, possibly trying to get by that of Vincent Sora. But Sora, certainly, he has not been having the best luck in the Cup cars here, Robert. But we've seen a lot of success in the Truck Series on Monday night for this 15 machine. He's just trying to translate that momentum over the Cup Series any way he can, and currently back in 7th, but his race is not over just yet.
Not over just yet, as we've got 15 laps of 150, but you're right. I mean, over on Monday night, he's got the trucks figured out. He's got a couple wins over there already. He's showing pretty strength there, but, you know, coming over to the Cup cars then, yeah, it's just not happening yet for him here, Sam. I don't know if it's if it's the driver, is it the physics of the car? Because he is an intelligent driver. He's a smart driver. He knows how to get these cars around tracks. So what's holding him back when it comes to the Cup cars? What exactly is it? I mean, as us commentators, we don't know. If the driver don't know, we definitely ain't gonna know. So, I mean, he's got to figure something out halfway through this season yet here, Sam, you know, to figure out what he needs to do, because he is strong, and we see him up here running week in and week out in the Cup cars, running second, running third, leading laps, things like that, and it just doesn't seem to happen for him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, for Vincent Sora, yeah, we're harping on him, but that's just because we're expecting great things from this 15 driver.
Correct. Yep.
I mean, he has been very quick, very consistent. He's third in points currently for the regular season. It's just that he hasn't gotten a win last season or this season. We've seen him win multiple times. I think it's one, competition, and two, just a lot of poor luck that happens for himself. He gets placed in situations where he might be falling back when he wants to move forward, but as you saw there, Ryan Johnson made the pass 5 laps ago, and now being swapped back and forth currently, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this swapping back and forth, but where we haven't seen a lot of these passes going on is for our front three. Zach Hall, Mark Whitley, Tom Senchek. They have not changed positions at all, and they're doing a great job spacing each other out and just running their own race.
Spacing out, Zach Hall is up actually 5 positions of his qualifying position, with Whitley falling back 1 and Tom moving up 1, with Cedric Hunter moving up 8 positions. So these guys with 19 laps in the books already are starting to show it, and you can see the different lines right there. Prime example, Zach Hall way up the track, Mark Whitley way down the track. As I do got to give a little bit of shout out. I normally don't do this, Sam, but I'm a holiday guy. I love Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my favorite time of the year. If anybody ever asks you, you know why. But I got to give Mark's paint scheme credit there. I love it. I just love it. It's Christmas. So clean. It's got snow on it, and I love snow.
Snow is the best. I'm from like the Northern California side, just south enough where we don't get snow, but northern enough where I can drive up to where there's snow, and I love snow. I love the holiday season. It's great to see it. And for the guys here for Saturday for the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series, I noted on it at the start of the broadcast, but they do not race until the new year starts. We're going to have practically a full month of no racing action on Saturdays for a while, and that is going to be a weird thing to be feeling for us in the booth, as we love watching these guys race every Saturday. But the next broadcast that will be covered here Saturday night is going to be January 8th when we come back for short track racing. Nashville Fairgrounds is the next points race that these drivers are getting set up for.
That is right, yes. As next week, though, they do got their All-Star race. Now, it is not going to be broadcasted, ladies and gentlemen. So pay attention to the social media platforms, Freaky Fast Broadcasting and NAISCC, Cup Series Facebook page. I'm sure they'll post some pictures and links and things like that of exactly what happened. So at least you're up to date who won the All-Star race and things like that. And then, like Sam said, when we come back after the holidays, we will note on January 8th exactly who won the All-Star race, give you a brief rundown of what we know before we get rolling into that next race.
Yeah, and actually was talking to some of the drivers. They don't even know what the All-Star race is going to be. They're still debating on it, on what the All-Star race is going to be, all the things that are coming around for that race. There might be dirt for them. It could be F1 cars. They don't know what they're going to do, but they know they're going to be having fun. That is for sure. But Robert, we've now entered the part of the race where drivers that have been saving their tires are going to be starting to make some moves, and those that are overused their tires are going to start to fall back. As we look at our second pack, seeing the side-by-side racing, it's James Tremmel and also Max Foner side-by-side here battling for that of 14th position.
Yeah, it looks like James in that 20 there, he might have saved some of his tires, because he's on the outside of Max right now, and it looks like he's going to be able to. Oh, and Max got tight there, Sam. Woohoo! Hang on to it there, sir.
And big credit to Max Foner for letting off the gas. You've seen him lose position, but if he had stayed in the throttle, easily could have wiped out his race and for James Tremmel. And that's what not having a faster pair does to these drivers. They've got to keep in mindset, I do not want to get any damage or ruin my race, which means I cannot just let my car drift up into another car. They don't have that safety net anymore of a fast repair, which it cleans up the racing, but also makes you be a lot more gentle on the drivers around you. So you got a lot more give instead of take like we were seeing earlier in the season.
And if you're falling back like Max and you see Alex back here, you see Dylan Walterman and things like that, you're falling back, your race is not over. As we all know, we got a stage coming up on lap 69. Just ride it out. There's no rush. There's nothing. Just stay on the lead lap. Go in and get your tires, get it 2 cans of Sunoco fuel, and adjust what you need to adjust during that pit stop to try to surge forward, on the next stint of the race and try to get at least into the top 10, or even maybe go for the win. Depends on if it oops, I said the word. Well, sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
We were so good. We were so good for almost 30 laps, and who knows what's gonna happen now?
Oh, I just ruined it.
Oh, if I know for these drivers up front, they don't want to be involved in a potential of that happening, and I know for the drivers in further back, they want to be careful. But again, the no fast repair, it has cleaned up the racing for these drivers. So even if we throw out, the Banana Republic every once in a while, I know they're going to be still racing as hard as they can, but also being a lot more kind to one another, which I think that's what's helped this racing clean up, is that everyone's now on the same page of we don't want to ruin our race here in the first quarter of the race. We want to make sure we're all there at the end where the gloves are off, and that's when you can start making a lot of these big moves, which, speaking of big moves, we're now going to move up to the lead and check out what's going on up there as Zach Hall now seeing Tom Sinchek and Mark Whitley get a little bit frisky with one another. Mark Whitley now trying to get by the 8 machine, which is now giving some time for that of Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, and Brian Johnson get into the mix up front. It's a 6-horse battle for that of second place.
As we look at Cedric Hunter, they're going to duck it low, and Mark Whitley there in that number 77 Harpoon machine going to try to make the pass on the low line, and Vincent Sora says, nope, you know what, I'm going to pull right up beside you here, Cedric Hunter, and we're going to go down that backstretch, and you can just see how much power that turn 1 and 2 has on the high side. It's just you can't pass on the low line, and we noted on this too, and I do apologize for saying note for so many times because I just realized I'm saying that all the time, but you talked about it, Sam, the way this draft package is and the way these cars are, it's hard to pass at a super speedway. It's more finesse, I do believe, at a 1.5 miles, trying to pass somebody, because you really got to work, like you said, you got to work the drafts, you got to work, the side drafts. The side draft is key. It's not that you can't pass nobody, but you really got to know what you're doing when you get on the side of somebody to slow that vehicle down.
Yeah, it's that building that momentum so that you got enough speed to even get side by side with the driver in front of you, and hope that you get to their quarter panel about 3/4 of the way down the back stretch so that you can utilize the side draft to slow down that driver. So on the entry of the corner, you've got more speed to try to go for kind of a slide job move to get by. And if you cannot make that pass on the entry of the corner, you're going to be what we're seeing here from Vincent Sora, stuck on the inside, not able to make the pass. And you got to wait and build up that momentum again for another 3 to 4 laps before you can really make a pass. And here comes Mark Whitley. Just, you could tell he had a great momentum, but he got tight, drifted up, and now here comes Cedric Hunter capitalizing on the speed. Brian Johnson not recognizing what was happening in the 13, 2 for 1 for himself, and Johnson now is going to go to the inside. And don't look now, Nick Crawford and James Loveland now are caught up to this lead pack.
Wow. That's twice now we've seen that with Mark, where that car got wicked. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, Sam, with Mark. I'm trying to figure it out in my head. Is he loose, or is it that I would assume it's loose. I mean, because the way the car, it steps out and then it grabs, it looks like it wants to grab and snap. But then at the same time, he's snapping it and getting it going straight again. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing there?
Yeah, I mean, on the first one, I would 100% say that he got snappy loose on the exit, and he trekked up to save that car. That go around, it looked like he got tight because he got right on the back bumper of Tom Sinchek when he was trying to figure out how to make a pass and had to let off. And when he let off, the car just drifted high on him, which then clogged up Vincent Sora, giving the chance there for Cedric Hunter to make that pass. And for both Mark Whitley and Vincent Sora, we love to see the racing action of them on top of one another, as well as seeing Brian Johnson and James Loveland. But for the battle for fourth currently, these are drivers that have been rivals in the Truck Series on Monday nights, and we love to see the rivalry continue on as Loveland able to get in front of that of Brian Johnson. And still side-by-side racing for that fourth place position continues on, and a little bit of contact made there. Well, as you saw in front, that of Vincent Sora, a little bit of a door bang into the 77 of Mark Whitley, and These drivers, like I noted on, they've had arguments, they've fought, they've bickered on Monday nights, and it's kind of translated over here to Saturdays, and they still can't get off of one another.
Yeah, they tried to say that this rival is cool, that they both went down into the holler and talked it out and did their little duking out left and right and said, all right, we're good, let's look at the bigger pictures, both of you. But, I don't care what anybody says. A race car is a race car driver, Sam, and all it does is take one little bump, and then that one driver could be like, you know what, you just did a beep, and that just starts it all over again.
Yeah,
doesn't take
at
much.
any moment. It honestly, it doesn't. It's just one little, it can even just be a block. You could go down and just stop someone from making a pass, and that could keep someone irritated for the whole entire season. It just takes one small thing, and if you're making contact, making any types of movements, that could be detrimental as well, as Cedric Hunter gets tight on the inside, almost taking out the 8, and that's now going to give an opportunity for Vincent Sora trying to make the pass on Cedric Hunter. And as well, we're starting to see drivers in the back. They're coming into pit road. Pit cycle is underway. We've already seen Jesse Thordick, that of Gregory Shaw, Max Foner, Trevor Earhart, all in pit road. Now it's going to be Ryan Ferraro and also that of Thomas Walter into pit road. Now is the question for the drivers up front. They're getting racy. They're starting to make some big moves. Nick Crawford almost getting into Mark Whitley. But when are we going to see our leaders come to pit road? That's going to be the big question for everyone that's in the top 15.
Well, that's a good question there, Sam, because, we're looking at stage 69. They have to make a pit stop. They can't run 69 laps, I don't believe, can they? They run 100% fuel, so no. So, they're going to have to make a pit stop. So, I would imagine if you're already out here in the front, I would just stay out, and hopefully that yellow flag don't fly. Well, if it does, that's great for them. But I would stay out as long as I could now, because I did notice one thing watching this race and watching all these top 7 drivers on top of each other, back and forth, Dirty Air is not doing very well here tonight with these cars. You can just notice, you noted on Cedric Hunter there, he tried to make a move, he got tight. That has to do with dirty air too. Tires, dirty air, and the minute that happens, you lose so much momentum here, because again, this track is a momentum track. You got to keep the momentum up, and anytime you lose a little bit of momentum or burn off that tires too bad, you're going to fall backwards, and we see it right here, prime example. We got Loveland now looking on the high side of Mark Whitley, and he should pass him with no problem, and that's going to open up the door to Brian Johnson that's going to be looking on the high side here.
Yeah, he thought about the high side, but just was not able to do so. And as these drivers continue to race on, I do want to give note Nick Crawford, who was up in our top 7 battling there. He had come into pit road, took 4 tires and fuel, and now going to be back in 20th position as well. Another DNF going to be added. Ethan Smith, brushing the wall, comes into pit road, saw there was too much damage for repairs. The 00 going to be calling it a day here early on lap 39.
Tough night for Ethan, because he's been looking really good in the truck series on Monday night too. That's another driver there, Sam. It's not translating over into the cup cars for him, but he's got a victory over there in the trucks. He's been very dominant in the past 3 weeks over there. He has stepped up his game in the trucks, and he's becoming ready for the playoffs over there. And over here in the cup cars, it's just not happening right now for him. There's just, again, something not clicking for him, and the same as, Vincent Sora. There's just something not going on right now. We expect more out of him, like you said.
Yeah, it's one of those things of talent, talent for one, but mainly a lot of bad luck. Luck is something that a lot of these drivers kind of just always, some just don't think about, others do think about throughout their season, of making sure they're not caught up in any issues. But as we see on screen, Nick Crawford a lap down, trying to get by the drivers that are back here racing for 10th and 11th position. And you can just see the difference in speed. It's all in the center of the corner. When you got fresh tires like the 11 does, you can carry more speed and just rocket ship your way past. And also we saw that of the 66 of Gregory Shaw doing the exact same thing. So we're starting to see drivers maximizing these fresh tires, trying to get a little bit of advantage, that of Gregory Shaw and Nick Crawford. But Nick Crawford going with an extreme undercut, hoping that he can have a big enough gap in front of the drivers that are soon to be coming into pit road, which more are translating in. That of Ryan Bird, Aaron Kralik, and Patrick Hernandez getting done with their service, and now just in Martin Morales, Light, and others is, looking at where all the drivers lie. We're starting to see some of our front runners also looking at when they're going to be coming in. Zach Hall continuing to be our leader right now. Robert, the question is, when will we see Zach Hall come to pit road? We haven't really talked about him because he's been our leader since lap 2.
Yeah, lap 2. When will he come in? I would imagine probably around lap 50 to 55 would be my guess. Within the next 5-10 laps, I do believe that Category 5 esports machine will come down and make his pit stop. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we haven't talked much about him. He's supporting a different paint scheme here tonight. He does got his teammate back behind him here, Cedric Hunter, right now pouncing on him a little bit there, trying to make a pass, but we'll have to see here how that all plays out. And not sure. I mean, because now we're getting into I call it the lollygag of the race. We're pretty well spread out. We'll have to see how this all plays out, because I mean, with Nick Crawford doing that shortcut pit stop, that's very interesting that he would undercut so much. He's already got a win, so I guess he's trying to look for maximized points, I guess, to go into the playoffs. I mean, that what's he getting out of it?
Well, I mean, like you noted on, he's got his win from that first Daytona race. He's locked into the playoffs. If you get a win, you're inside of the top 20, you get locked into the playoffs. And so for Nick Crawford, he's enabled and allowed to try these very oddball strategies of doing an extreme undercut, putting himself in a position where he could possibly be the leader once that pit cycle goes all the way through. And then he's got to make sure he can try to hold off for anything from 17 to 18 laps left in this stage once everyone gets done with their cycle. As now Vincent Soares coming into pit road. We already saw Tom Sinchek, Ryan Johnson, our front runners, come in. We're still waiting for our top 6 to come in. That's going to be Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, James Loveland, Mark Whitley, Maurice Gomillion, James Tremmel. Those are going to be your 6 drivers that still need to come into pit road, as Cedric Hunter steps out a little bit as he got the 25 of Trevor Earhart. Still challenging. He's got fresh tires and really disrupting our front 2 currently. And for Trevor Earhart, he's got to be riding high after his Wednesday championship victory, after beating out that of Jason Fensler, which I don't think any of us at Freaking Fast Broadcasting thought that was going to be possible.
Nope.
A big kudos to this 25 team for his championship victory Wednesday night, covered here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. After this race, go check out how Trevor Earhart won his championship by 2 points. I mean, it was all based off positioning. I believe it was actually based off of points for that series. So it was very important on how he won, and winning the championship by 2 points was Trevor Earhart. So Underdog Racing League, go check it out after you're done here. But right now, all the eyes on our top 5. When will they come into pit road?
Well, that's what we're going to do. Keep an eye on here, as we are getting here on lap 50. So I would imagine they should come in here, unless he's going to make me a liar. Nope, and here they come. Teammates are going to work together. Whoa, hang on to a sack. Wow, he just took that thing sideways in there, Sam.
Yeah, now he's got to be careful that he doesn't get caught speeding with the way that he wiggled in. And you kind of saw 2 very different strategies. Zach Hall being a lot more aggressive on pit entry, and that's why he got so wiggle loose. He got into not a balanced transition from the race surface to the apron, got himself loose, while Cedric Hunter went with more of a passive approach, came in a lot earlier onto the apron and a lot slower, so he did not get that scare. As you see, those right sides go up, the left sides as well going to be going up for these drivers. 2 tires for themselves, but 3 drivers still need to come to pit road. Mark Whitley, Maurice Gomillion, and James Tremmel still needing to come in. We're coming up to about 15 laps to go here in stage number 1, and only the top 5 get stage bonus points. So you've got to make sure you're in the top 5. That's why we're seeing some of these drivers trying some oddball strategies, and Nick Crawford currently leading all the drivers that have pitted already.
Looks like I'm just looking at data right now here, Sam, and he does got Max Foner right behind him, and he actually got some right on top of him. So that little leapfrog helped him out a little bit. I mean, he's got Max. Max finished, pitted on lap 33. Nick Crawford pitted on lap 38. So there is a little bit of a gap there in tire wear. if there is any, on either of these cars here, to extreme wise. So I don't know if Max Forner there has anything to catch up to Nick with the less tire wear, more tire wear that he has. But I mean, we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, this all looks good for Nick. If this stays green and mean and mighty, he should look good right now here for at least getting the stage win and finish out and getting the max points that you can get.
Oh, absolutely. But the big scare currently is for our leaders, that of Mark Whitley, more so Maurice Gomillion and James Tremmel. They are being swarmed by the drivers that have already pitted, for that of Zach Hall, as well for that of the 19 and Patrick Hernandez. They have been side by side, cruising their way through all of lap traffic, and they've actually split both that of James Tremmel and that of Gregory Shaw, and they're now trying to maximize their speed. As see Cedric Hunter trying to get by Ferraro. Maurice Gomillion kind of just stuck where he's at and kind of has to just hold his own line, let the drivers that have better tires drive by. And so we see the 44 coming to pit road, which looks like he's making the signal, might be coming in, but Zach Hall is flying with these fresh tires and trying his best to climb through all the drivers that are already a lap down, make sure he'll get that, at least be in the top 5 when we get to the end of this stage. That's at the end of lap 69.
That got really close here with the 12 of Ryan and Zach Hall and Vincent Sora. I mean, I think Ryan was like, I'm going to go high, and they blew by him, and he didn't know where to go. he didn't know if he wanted to go low, high, middle. I don't know, man. If I was him in the car, I would have went, holy crap, guys.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary out there on track currently, especially with all the drivers that are starting to get a sense of, okay, I pitted earlier, and with this undercut, I gained a couple of positions, but it's not going to give me a chance to get into this, to get some stage points. So now they're kind of feeling that abrasiveness of these tires falling off, as James Tremmel has found his way into pit road. Still waiting for Mark Whitley and Maurice Gomillion, but this is great information for us up in the booth, showing that these drivers can go 50-odd on laps if they're in the draft, saving fuel. As now Maurice Gomillion comes into pit road. Mark Whitley, he just has to hold high and pretty, but there is the concern. He's being passed by so many drivers going underneath the 77. If he is forced to come into pit road and he misses pit entry because there's a driver underneath him, he could run out of fuel before he gets to pit road if he's not careful.
Yeah, it looks like he finally got his way down. It looks like he's looking for pit road, and here he comes. Nice and easy, hard on the brakes. Going to get that thing slowed down to 55 miles per hour, and there you go, Sam. Pretty nice entry there for Mark Whitley. But, yeah, I mean, I think he stayed out a little bit too long, but, because now the question is on lap 69, which is only 10 laps away. Are these guys going to make another pit stop on that stage? Does Mark stay out now because he's pitted so late in this stage? Because he's not gaining anything, though, Sam, now coming out, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not sure what the strategy plan was. Was he trying to bank on a yellow to put multiple cars a lap down?
Well, based off of his pit stop that he just had, fuel only for the 77.
Oh.
So he is really trying something odd here for himself, because as Mark Whitley comes out, fuel only for himself, and he's already back to 18th place. I mean, I think at this point he's just hoping that he doesn't go a lap down. But with him going to be so off pace than the leaders, Mark Whitley is going to be in a threat of going a lap down and hoping to get that lucky dog position. And it's just a head scratcher. What is going on for this 77 team?
Yeah, I'm scratching my head right with you there, Sam. The only thing I can bank on here now is that that's going to save him an extra set of tires in pit road for towards the end of the race. And we've seen the first 5-6 races of this series be carnage at the end. It was just nothing but a wreck all left and right all the time. But like you said, they got rid of that fast repair. That all calmed down. The past 2 races, we really haven't seen that late breaking yellows like we're used to here on Saturday night with these guys. So that's the only thing I could think he could be banking on, is just to have an extra set of tires now if we get multiple yellows or towards the end of the race. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, and now for Mark Whitley, he's just going to have to deal with what he's got. I thought maybe possibly going for 2 tires could have been a decent call, just getting some type of fresh rubber to help himself out. But as we move up and see the battling that's going for the lead currently, Brian Johnson, Tom Sinchek, both pulling away and having one of the best stops for themselves. They both came in at the same time, which is a very good, I would say following Brian Johnson is not a bad call. And whenever he comes into pit road, we saw it work out for this 28 so much last season with getting his over 7 wins for himself. And this season already having 3 wins. This 28 team of Brian Johnson just knows how to get to victory lane. And same as Tom Sinchek. Sinchek's been on a very good hot run. Both these drivers have been our top 2, and they've been the only ones winning since week 4 when Brian Johnson won at the Daytona Road Course. Then it was Tom Sinchek at Pocono, Brian Johnson at Dover and Watkins Glen. And then last week, Tom Sinchek winning. So 2 of our hottest drivers for these past 5 weeks, it's these 2 that are up front trying to get the best bonus points for themselves and best positioning possibly for when we come back to racing after our stage 1 break.
Yeah, well, and paying attention to Tom here too. We seen it towards the end of the last season when Cedric Hunter won the championship. Tom just wasn't on the second half of that season. It just blew up on him. Things just weren't going right. He was involved into a lot of multiple wrecks. Some of his doing, some of his not doing. Strategy calls not working out. Things like that. That rolled over to the season of the start of this season here. It wasn't really, he didn't start out too strong. Not a good showing at race number 1 of this season. But the past couple weeks here, a light switch went off there with that number 8, and you can see it. He's back in the groove. He's back in the racing. You get that race. You get that race win. You get that momentum going. You get that feeling going. You're like, okay, I know I got this. I get it. Okay, I got it again. And you could just see it on the track. And Brian Johnson, note on him, Sam, he hasn't really lost too much. He has his up and down curves, but he's been pretty strong. All last season with the most wins, and then this season here getting his wins and being up front. But I guess gotta give more of a shout out to Tom of how whatever he did, it finally clicked for him.
Yeah, that it certainly did. And honestly, it's been great to watch these drivers, just the way that they've developed. But I kind of was jokingly saying this during practice when I was in the driver's lounge, just getting their thoughts coming into this race. And I was like, man, am I just Tom Sinchek's bad omen? Because every single time I've missed a race, the 3 races I've missed so far this season, Tom Sinchek's been running great. I mean, Atlanta, you've got a 3rd place finish. Couldn't beat out the teammates, that of Garrett Talmadge and, Thomas Green, as they held off the 8 machine. But then Tom Sinchek got his win at Pocono and also last week at Michigan. All 3 of those races, great finishes for this 8 team, and I wasn't there. So maybe I'm the bad luck. We'll see how well Tom can race here as I'm back in the booth, and we're 2 laps away from the end of stage 1.
Well, we'll see. 2 laps away, like you said there, and we'll see if he can stay at least in the top 5 and say, you know what, Sam, you're not my bad luck. We love you no matter what. Or maybe he doesn't say that. He might be saying, frickin' Sam.
Championship races here. Get him out of the booth. As white flags in the air for stage number 1, and battling currently for the lead, looking like Brian Johnson's going to get that, but there is battling side-by-side racing for the 5th place position. Our last bonus points, as it's going to be that of Nick Crawford, able to hold off for now James Loveland, and Loveland with the 10-lap fresher tires, not able to make the pass. As we're coming to the end here, it's now a dash to the line, and coming across the line, it's going to be that of Crawford. Crossing the line, yellow waves. Nick Crawford defends and gets that 1 extra bonus point. And honestly, he's already locked into the playoffs. That's a bonus point James Loveland needs desperately for himself.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know if you know this, this is Nick Crawford's home track. He's from Las Vegas, so he, if you look on the back of his vehicle there, that's Live in Las Vegas logo on there. But yeah, I mean, beating out Loveland, that definitely needed that 1 point, because right now you can see on the ticker, ladies and gentlemen, and highlighted in blue, you got Johnson, Tom, you got Hall, and Nick are highlighted in blue. They're the only drivers that won, except for Tremmel, that hasn't shown up here for not Tremmel. What's his name again?
That of Thomas Green. Which
yeah.
haven't gotten word if Green or Talmadge are going to be coming back to racing, as they've been kind of MIA for a while these last couple of weeks. So I don't know if Green's going to come back, but if he does, he came into this race on 20th position in points, so he's going to need points to make sure that win counts.
Right. So he's the only one that got a win. So we'll see if we can get a new winner up here in the booth here after tonight's race, or if one of these are going to be back to back. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now they're taking their pit stops here. So this is our time for me and Sam to take a commercial break for our proud sponsors here and enjoy. And we'll be right back to call the rest of the action race here with the NAISCC Cup Series here on Saturday night at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Stay tuned for more action.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series here at that of Las Vegas for the European Wax Center 300. Big thanks to European Wax Center for sponsoring last week and this week's race here for the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series. Also, since we're still under break currently, want to give big thanks to Track Racer Refined Gaming. If you're trying to get yourself started or if you're trying to finish up your racing rig, go to Track Racer. They've got the best equipment to get yourself set up. If you'd like a discount code, go to the NAISCC Facebook page and message them, and they can send you a Track Racer discount code. As well, that of the Simbox store. You're really pushing our buttons. If you're looking to get yourself a button box that's going to have all the inputs that you need to enhance your gaming, get yourself a Simbox from the Simbox store. You can message them on Facebook or even on eBay at the Simbox store. You really push our buttons. And speaking of enhancing your gaming, go to that ButtKicker Feel what you've been missing. Well, we'll talk more about ButtKicker and as well Advanced Sim Racing later on in the race as we are prepared and ready to go green for the European Wax Center 300. Well, hopefully the drivers are ready because we're done with stage one. We're ripping that off. We're getting ourselves back to racing action. It's Tom Sinchek, Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, and Vincent Sora, your top five, as they're roaring down into turn number one. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Robert Moyer. And Robert, we're back to Green Flag Racing.
Green Flag Racing it is, and we seen where Zach started out in that first stage at the beginning of the race back here, running right behind Brian Johnson in fifth position, up one position. He did start sixth, and we seen what he did. He worked his way all up through the field there, Sam, and he took over the lead, and he didn't look back, and he led the majority of basically that whole first stage, you know, until the stage racing. So we'll have to see how this all plays out now.
Yeah, and we're really starting to see some drivers wanting to get aggressive. Cedric Hunter, very quick, deking move that last lap. Going to be putting him now into the lead. Tom Sinchek now going to be swarmed by the former teammates that were Category 5. Brian Johnson was forced to go make his own team. He made Magnitude 9. Cedric Hunter, that is Zach Hall teammates still, but allies with the 28. And Tom Sinchek, I got to say for the 8, feeling a little bit swarmed and boxed in, but still holding strong for himself. As Brian Johnson, now no draft help for himself. He's now going to have to stay side-by-side for second as Cedric Hunter loving the side-by-side action behind him.
Oh, as we got Zach Hall, tried to get behind there at Brian Johnson, and he slid up the track, and he did recover from it, but that just pushes everybody right back up from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way back through side-by-side into turn 3 and 4. Zach Hall's going to look down low to get underneath Tom Sinchek and try to use his draft, but he's got Vincent Sora right behind him there, Sam, going down into turn 1.
Yeah, it was bump drafting's okay here at Las Vegas, and Vincent Sora has been the driver that's been doing primarily a lot of it here tonight, as he's done a lot of bump drafting with a lot of different drivers, and now we're starting to see who's going to be the front runner. And for Zach Hall, we saw him leading the majority of that first run, those first 20, 30, almost 40 laps for himself. This 32 team qualified back in 6th for that race, so he's going to keep it close. Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, contact is going to be made, go to the exit of turn 4, and we've seen that these mile-and-a-half courses, Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, they seem to always find a way to make contact here.
Did we see another bump and run?
Well, it was sides bumping off of one another, a little bit of door banging from the 13, came up into Brian Johnson, almost forcing the 28 into the outside wall. Very dangerous move from both drivers. Cedric Hunter now is going to just duck behind that of Zach Hall. Vincent Sora not able to make the pass just yet, but Hall is now on the move to try to get back in the lead position, and it's up front they keep on continue to duke it back and forth. It's a madhouse. You can see it middle of the pack. There's still 2, almost 3 wide back there for 10th.
We got battle. That's with back of Max Foner. We got Ryan Bird back here, Jesse, Dylan Walterman, Mark Whitley's back here in this Hornet's Nest. As they are, like you said, you got Nick Crawford. They're duking it out left and right, side by side. Man, I'm telling you, fresh tires, Sam, and ladies and gentlemen, this is high-packed racing right now until these tires start to fall off. This is what we're going to see. People cannot get away from nobody. It's just pack racing. You just follow somebody and hope you don't, run into somebody or somebody runs into you, like you see in there with Cedric Hunter and Brian Johnson, former teammates there. Kind of still teammates, but former here in the league.
Yeah, more of allies in Saturday nights for those drivers. But I'm looking at this group that we're talking about. I mean, Max Foner, Mark Whitley, Jesse Thordick, as well as Gregory Shaw. Those 4 drivers, I would note, as probably some of the most aggressive drivers in this league. And they're all on top of one another in the middle of this pack, just showing you could be placed anywhere and kind of feeling stalled out unless your lane starts moving, as they're going to be 3 wide behind Gregory Shaw. That of Talmadge, that of Tremel, going to be able to make the move forward for the 20 machine. That Tram Jam 20 is certainly trying to get himself moving in the right direction as Gregory Shaw, Thordick side by side. And this is what you love at Las Vegas. The middle of the pack, they don't really calm down until it's a little bit too late for their tires.
Yeah, the only way they calm down is either too late for their tires or they just wreck each other. I mean, it's either or, right, Sam?
Oh, absolutely. They are going to possibly take each other out. But right now, Gregory Shaw, great rebound for himself. Luckily, that stage break was there, as, again, he was one of the drivers that got loose, spun out, and lost a lot of position, but you saw him just barely touch that white line. The apron is not your friend. It can lose you and scrub you a lot of time as well. We're now going to be moving up front. The battle for the lead. Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, they're side by side. And as well, Cedric Hunter trying to get back moving forward as Vincent Soares made that pass.
Well, that's it here. Here goes Cedric Hunter looking, and then you got Zach Hall underneath Brian Johnson side by side into turn 3 and 4 here. This is a power move if he can clear him, and Brian Johnson knows this, Sam. He knows he cannot let Zach Hall get in front of him because he's shown it in the beginning of the race. The minute that 32 got up front, he was gone, and no one had anything for him. And I know in the post interviews here that we're going to have after today's race with the top 3, the number one question we're going to ask them, and the number one answer they're going to give us is dirty air, dirty air, dirty air. You do not want to be in it. It does not go very well with these cars. And right now you got Cedric Hunter, Vincent Soares, you got Aaron, you got Tom Simchek, the 01, Kralik back here, all dealing with dirty air. You got Nick Crawford dealing with dirty air. So these guys got to back it up a little bit into the turns, let the car rotate, and to get back on the gas, which does scrub speed. It's, you know, you don't carry the same speed as if you can stay in full throttle. As you've seen, Brian Johnson there, he held off Zach Hall there, Sam.
Yeah, did a really good job holding off for now. And honestly, for Brian Johnson, it is an advantage to hold back Zach Hall, but at the same time, for Brian Johnson and for that of Tom Simchek, they both had a great pit stop that put them further ahead from Zach Hall and others by over 3 or more seconds. So it could be, yes, you're trying to make sure you're ahead of the other drivers in front of you, make sure you're ahead of them so you're not dealing with that dirty air, but pit stop. If we get another green flag pit stop, that could be the most important phase on how you can gain positions, make sure you have a big enough gap to hold off everyone else behind you.
Yep. You can gain positions, but you also can lose positions. You know, this next pit stop sequence is going to be very, very key. When do you make it? You know, we see what Nick Crawford did. He pitted way earlier than anybody else and did the undercut, and he did finish in the top 5. Held off Loveland, you know, to get, you know, 1 point in that stage. But you could tell he wasn't moving no more farther. He wasn't going to fall back, but he would have fell back, you know, maybe 7 laps later if it was a little bit longer run. But he timed it just right, just at least get some kind of points out of that first stage.
Yeah, he did a really good job of getting and holding off James Loveland to get at least that 1 point. But James Loveland really needed that bonus point, especially with where Loveland is in points. Coming into the night, James Loveland is going to be back in 17th in points, but he's out by over 10 points. So he needs, by 12 points. So he needs to have a lot of good runs for this 56 that missed the playoffs last season. Almost came in and won the last regular season that would have put him into the playoffs. Got wrecked out late, wasn't able to make it, missed out on the top 16. And here this season, this is race number 9 of 13. So we need to see this 56 start to step up his game, have some solid finishes if he wants to make the playoffs this year.
That is correct, Sam. And we know in that V-speed machine of James there in that 56, we know he's got speed. We know he's fast. Just putting it together, like you said. And, you know, he missed the playoffs last year. He's trying not to do it again this year. He wants to at least get into the playoffs to give him a shot at, you know, running for the championship against the other top contenders. But like you said, this is race number 9 of 13. There's not too many more races to go. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, we noted, Sam noted, I noted on it, but, you know, we're going to be off for 3 to 4 weeks. We don't come back to January 8th. So, yeah, a lot of these drivers race in other leagues. So at least you can keep the momentum and going on. But I know taking a break from racing sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing because then you lose the rhythm. You lose the sense of what you're doing and how you're racing and what's going on, things like that. So just because this is a virtual sim, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't mean nothing. It's still like real life. I mean, you still got to fight and, you know, remember what you're doing out there and, you know, to try to win a championship.
Yeah, winning the championship is so important for these drivers. And you know, for a lot of them, Brian Johnson's trying to get redemption for himself as he was the most winningest driver but did not win the championship. That went to that of Cedric Hunter. We know of the other champion in this series, Tom Surchek, that won season 1 and 2. Our champ, currently running in 5th. As you see a driver go extremely low, that's Ryan Ferraro, who had issues coming out of turn number 2 and will stay straight. But, you know, for a lot of these drivers, that championship is the goal. Try to become the 3rd champion in this series in 4 seasons. And for some, for Cedric Hunter, he wants to get a 2nd championship. And for Tom Sinchek, he wants to solidify as being the champion of this series, making sure he can get this 3rd championship. But first, you got to make the playoffs if you want a chance at it. And that's where a lot of these drivers lie. And, you know, noting on James Loveland being in 17th, in front of him, he's got that of Dakota Moniz, as well as James Tremmel. Ryan Bird's going to be in that 16th position. And all 3 of those drivers are behind the 56 currently.
That is correct, as we're on lap number 95 of 150 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, brought to you by Wax Center, European Wax Center. I do apologize to them again. Man, I did that last week, Sam. European Wax Center here. It's the 300 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway here with the NAISCC Cup Series, and thank you for them for coming aboard, sponsoring last week's race, like you said there, Sam, and also tonight's race here.
Oh, so, no! Oh. Nick Crawford, Mark Whitley spinning around in front of drivers, and there goes the 77, dropping down like a rock. And oh my goodness, Mark Whitley just got dumped on the front stretch.
Oh, Lord. We will go back here on the replay.
Mark Whitley, who was back in 16th at the back of that restart, has climbed his way forward, but we're going to see here now Nick Crawford trying to give a little bit of a bump draft, and here's the risk at doing it is if you're not centered, you can just spin someone around, and there goes Mark Whitley. And it looked like only that of Jesse Thordick getting into the wall, and that's the only other driver as Jesse Thordick. No one else hit the 14. Biggest surprise, only 2 drivers involved in that wreck.
Let's see if we can go back again here real quick and hop on board with Nick here. Let's go into row bar, and you can just see how hard he's pushing him coming out of turn 4 here, Sam. And you can see his car was a little upset as it was. It was loose, and yep, just caught the left rear, and that's it. That's all it took. And you can see going around, and Nick didn't get, you know who got the most damage out of this was Jesse, really.
Jesse got a big clobber of that going into the outside wall, but that was it. I mean, I am highly surprised that no one else was involved in that wreck except for those 2 drivers. Big sigh of relief, I think, for the drivers that weren't involved, but we're almost collected in that. But this now puts these drivers in a very tricky situation, because when we go green, believe it's going to be 50 laps to go, and these drivers are going to be just at the cusp of 50 laps on fuel. So we might see a couple of drivers try to attempt fuel saving, which means they could be coming in right after getting this service done, as everyone comes into pit road to get service, and we'll see who decides to come in after this pit stop to try to top off with fuel to try to make it to the end.
Well, that's key. Okay, we seen on stage number 1 there, Sam, the drivers, you know, Mark Whitley went 57 laps. So this is what, 56? Yeah, I mean, wow.
This with them coming in this time, it's going to be putting them about 53 laps that they're going to be able to make this go around.
But they have to save.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, will they come? Who's going to come in and possibly just top off so they know they're good?
Yeah.
Those drivers in the further in the back, you know, they're going to be topping off.
Yeah, you might as well. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there, Sam. I missed. Oh, no. My brain's going a mile a minute right now, ladies and gentlemen.
We're both thinking. Okay, what do they need to do? Who's going to do what? And we're seeing a lot of our front runners deciding to stay out. I think a lot of them feeling comfortable that they can make it from here to the end. So no one coming in to top off like I thought maybe they'd want to do. So we're going to be seeing everyone deciding to stay out. And because we're under pacing, hey, let's look at some of our sponsors and give them a shout out. If you look at our bottom left, we're going to look at Advanced Sim Racing. They're one of the newest sponsors to be joining us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Use that promo code FreakyFast5. Get yourself 5% off at one of the most, what's crazy to think, Robert, we just added these guys on, checking out their website. They've got some of the best ways to get yourself invested into sim racing.
Yeah.
You can get yourself chassis, rig building. They are basically the eBay hub of if you're looking to get yourself any way into sim racing, go check out Advanced Sim Racing. They just started back in 2020. They're one of the fastest growing North American chassis and that of sim racing retail online stores to be getting into. Again, use the promo code FreakyFast5 for 5% off.
Yeah, I mean, they got nice wheels there. They got wheel hubs. They got wheel bases. They got sim rigs. They got motion rigs if you can afford stuff like that, which, you know, some people can. They got, you name it. Like you said, it's a hub. And it's, trust me, when I go and look at some of their stuff, ladies and gentlemen, I go, man, I want to buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that. But then I realized I would have a $10,000 bill, and that ain't going to fly.
Yeah, your mind goes crazy with the amount of stuff, and so just getting 5% off, very helpful for your wallet, and as well helping us out. And let them know that Freaky Fast sent you. As Advanced Sim Racing, we are glad that they are part with us. And since we got more time, hey, let's talk about more sponsors. Again, same spot. We're going to talk about ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off. And we've heard a lot of new people that have been getting their game or two from ButtKicker. Hey, they've been happy customers. All have been saving 20% off using our promo code. It's well worth it. It's a way to basically enhance your gaming. Instead of just hearing the sounds, why not feel them? Which, Robert, when the pandemic first started, and I was hearing from a lot of the real-life drivers, they always said, I miss feeling how the car reacts when you're in dirty air. Well, a ButtKicker gives you a little bit of that sensation of how the car rumbles and feels. Get yourself a game or two using, again, Freaky Fast 20 when you're purchasing your game or two from ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. As the driver's getting ready to go green, Robert, it's going to be 50 laps to go when we go green.
Well, if we thought it got heated up before, well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, grab your popcorn, because right now it's going to get freaky fast, freaky crazy, and freaky nuts here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as they get ready to head on out of turn 3 and 4 here with 50 laps to go here, Sam, as that pace car is going to duck in, and we're going to get ready for the green flag.
Ryan Johnson, Vincent Sora, that is Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Thompson, check your top 5. Nick Crawford, Aaron Kralik, James Loveland, Thomas Walter, and Martin Morales going to be your top 10. And we are green for the European Wax Center 300. And now we're going to be seeing these drivers knowing they can make it to the end from here. That means this early going, these first 15, 20 laps, you got to gain every position because you don't know if you're going to be getting it back later in this race. It's going to be Brian Johnson with a great launch for himself. Cedric Hunter and Vincent Sora going to be side by side, but further back, a lot of scattering. A couple of drivers getting into the outside wall, but coming out of 4 here, we might see someone go around. It's Cedric Hunter's pressuring Brian Johnson. Johnson gets loose. It's Cedric Hunter now going to be making the pass for the lead.
Did I say bump and run? Did I say that before? Did Brian give a Cedric Hunter a bump and run? You know, I think that was at Dover, if you remember correctly, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you know what? I think that was part of the payback. I don't think that was a full payback, but that was part of it.
I mean, Cedric's been bumped by Brian, Atlanta, Dover, and now you see Dakota Monique's going to be going extremely low for the 5 issues into the wall. But now Vincent Sora's going to be careful. Again, the tires trying to get fully warmed up. They're not fully songed yet, but once we get to 4 laps into this run, then they'll be a lot more warmer. You can see a lot more aggressive moves. It's Cedric Hunter and Brian Johnson side by side, and great bump drafting from Vincent Sora, moving to 13, but with too much speed, he drifts up. Here comes that of Brian Johnson as well. Vincent Sora coming onto the backstretch.
Oh my goodness, did we say get your popcorn? Well, I advise you to get everything and sit down and turn up that TV because it's going to get hot, it's going to get sweaty here because these guys are not playing nice here. Look at that Zach Hall. I'm telling you, here he comes. Does he take it 3 wide? No, he doesn't. He's going to back off. Nope, Cedric is going to block him to go into turn number 1 as he's going to set sail. And no, he's going to set behind Cedric Hunter here. As Vincent Sora says, okay, guys, you know, go ahead, play a little dirty. I'll just sit right here right now.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to be figuring out where you want to place yourself. We're going to be seeing the early going. Zach Hall has shown in that first stint that you want to be the leader. If you're the leader, you can really hold off everyone else behind. And that's why Cedric Hunter's loving the fact that he's in the lead currently. But Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, they got to be careful not staying side by side for too long because champ Tom Senchek, he's here and he's looking for win number 3. Was right on board with the 32. Zach Hall, he needs a good run and possibly might have a chance here going into turn 3.
And he's got to set it up here soon, because once he's in the next 5 to 7 laps here, Sam, we said it before, these tires start to wear down, and then these cars basically equal out on speed. So if you're going to do anything, you got to do it now. You can't wait. And you can see that an aggression of this racing has picked up. These drivers know this, and they got to do something, as we got a battle all the way back here for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th position here. They are still side by side trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, now everyone's starting to get in line. You know, all your passes that you were hoping to make, they might have come to the end now.
Yeah.
We're now getting into that part where drivers have to hold back. If you're planning on saving your tires, some have already been trying to save for that final 25-lap run when they're going to make that final push. Whoever has been saving might have the strategy that could be giving them a chance to win the race later on. But right now, you can kind of tell there's two mindsets. For Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall, it's get to the lead and stay there. For that of Vincent Sora, it's been help the driver that's in front of me and hope that it gives me a chance to make a pass. But for Brian Johnson, got to be careful for this 28 team. He got aggressive early, and now is trying to switch his strategy, and it might be too late for the 28, who was too aggressive in those first 2 to 3 laps on this restart.
Yeah, because we're not going to see pit stops. These guys don't have to make pit stops now. If a yellow comes out again, these front runners do not have to make a pit stop. Now, the bad part about this is how many sets of tires does some of these drivers have. We know the front's still okay with a set of tires, but if you're in the back and you made an early pit stop on this last yellow, did you take tires? Did you fill up on fuel to make sure that is? Oh my goodness, Tom.
Oh, he's flirting with a little bit of dirt tracking from the 8 with how wiggled that rear end was getting. But yeah, to note on the tires, everyone still has one more set left in pit road. So if a late caution comes out, I'm expecting everyone to come in and use that set of tires. But it's also about the timing of when the caution comes out. If it comes out now with 40 laps to go, some of these drivers, you know, some of them further back are going to take that final set. But if you're up front, that's the gamble. Do you think that would be their last caution, or do you want to save it for the final 20 laps of this race? Or would you accidentally leave a set in pit road when you had a chance? All the gambling, all the strategy, it's up in the air if a caution comes out.
Well, that's it, Sam. You know, I'm racking in my head here right now, looking at the lap times and things like that, and there's not much of a fall off. Like I noted a couple laps ago, these cars, after the tires fall off, these cars run about the same lap times from first all the way back, you know, to 10th position, 11th position. They're all running the same amount of lap times.
Oh no, Thomas Walter, James Tremmel. I mean, oh no, contact made and the spinning goes around. And now the 12's also going to be involved, and in a blink of an eye, we talked about possible of caution, and it waves here with 40 laps to go.
I don't think I need to talk about anything or try to explain anything anymore, because every time I do, a yellow comes out.
Oh, this caution, when we see this replay, we're going to be rolling our eyes, face palming. Here we go. Thomas Walter, James Tremmel going to be side by side. Thomas Walter thinks that he's clear to come down, but the closing rate was so fast that contact's going to be made, and there was no yellow until Thomas Walter's car drifts back up onto the track in front of oncoming traffic, and this is what brought out our second yellow of on-track incident. And you saw that of Ferraro also getting spun around. But, you know, the strategy call, the unknown, do you come in or do you save the set? It's up in the air on what you want to do here.
I was trying to, you know, figure it out in my head. What would you do, you know, because these cars tend to balance out on time, you know what I mean?
Here we go. Zach Hall might be coming in. Cedric Hunter does this bob and a weave, doesn't come in. A lot of mind games up front, but it's the drivers from 12th, and actually that of Nick Crawford is going to be one of our first drivers in the top 10 to come in, and then it's from about 11th on back, all following suit. It's going to be James Tremmel, Mark Whitley, Dakota Moniz, and others coming in to get service done, but Nick Crawford going to be one of the drivers to come in and get tires for himself. So a bit risky to see from this 11 team. And Steve Thordick's going to go a little bit too far, but I love these mind games that come out. Now the tire difference is going to be 15 laps Nick Crawford is going to be flying by these drivers here if he finds an opening to get by everyone.
That's what I was just ready to ask you, Sam, and the viewers out there on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in out there. Thank you, for watching. Just make sure you hit that share button and share it to your favorite social media platforms. We do much appreciate that. And also hit that like button. But you can all chime in on this question that I'm going to ask Sam. The question is now, was that a good call or bad call of staying out? Now, because we know these guys that just came in and made their pit stop, either if they took 2 tires, did anybody actually take 2 tires? Yeah, actually, Ryan Bird, Nick Crawford.
Nick Crawford took 2 tires.
Okay.
Bird took no tires.
Okay, so, Bird's okay with tires yet. These other guys, they don't have no sets of tires left, Sam. So we got 45 laps to go. If another yellow flies, was this a good call?
Well, actually, here's the funny thing, right? Mark Whitley didn't take a set, if we remember. So he has the damage, but he's taking a set here. He'll be back starting in 16th position, but he also has an extra set to work with for Mark Whitley. But we'll see, will the damage be too much for him to overcome with his fresh 4 tires? Martin Morales in 15th, going to be the first of those that took 4 tires here. So, and we know, for the drivers that just took 4 fresh tires, Gregory Scholl is going to be part of this group. Jesse Thordick's going to be, James Tremmel, going to be part of this group. Max Foner just took tires. It has gotten a lot of aggressive drivers behind that when they've got fresh tires, they do some very reckless things. It is going to be very, very interesting. If you haven't gotten your popcorn yet, you better get it. You better get loud and get up on your feet because it is going to be a madhouse on this restart.
Yeah, and you know what? I talked earlier about Mark Whitley saving that 1 set of tires. And remember we were trying to do the strategy call there, Sam, and trying to figure out why did he save that set for a late break yellow or things like that? Well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is why. He did the right call. It actually all fell the way he hoped it would plan to fall. But again, like you said, can the damage? Can the tires overtake the damage, and can he get his way up through the field and have a possibility? Probably not for a win with the damage, because this is a very air sensitive track. Any kind of little damage really hurts you here at Las Vegas. But I want to imagine why he can't get himself up into the top 5 finish here. And I'm watching chat right now here, and we got a lot of people now tuning in and giving us some of their input here.
Well, if you did take tires, again, those drivers that came in, going to be Nick Crawford, who took 2 tires. Ryan Bird took none. He was in 14th. It's 15th on back. Mark Morales, Mark Whitley, Gregory Scholl. Those are going to be the 3 drivers that took 4 tires that do not have extreme damage. But for James Tremmel, Max Foner, and those behind, they did have extreme damage and also took 4 tires. But up front, our top 12 did not take tires. So they all stayed out. They're all going to be banking on if this race gets more yellows, then they'll use their final set, as a lot of these drivers, it's up in the air. You knew if a caution came out, it was going to be a chess game on what you were going to do. And here we go. Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, Brian Johnson, Tom Senchek, James Loveland, Aaron Kralik, Dylan Walterman, Trevor Earhart, Patrick Hernandez going to be your top 10, with Maurice Gomillion and Alex Light going to be the other 2 drivers that did not take tires here. We'll see what the top 12, how well can they defend, or will they be pushed aside? It is your European WAC Center 300, and we are green once again. Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, they need to get going quick, and that inside line got a great launch for that of Hunter and Sora. Hall was caught sleeping there for a moment.
As they go down into turn 1, and I was just looking at the top 5 here, or actually, well, if you look at the, say, top 5 right now as they come out of turn number 2 here, heading down the backstretch, getting up to speed, getting these tires all heated up, ladies and gentlemen. But Cedric Hunter does not have a win, and neither does Vincent Sora. Kralik doesn't. Loveland doesn't. So, I mean, this is, oh no!
Oh, it's Gregory Scholl as well. Going to be making contact with Adam Max Foner. They're going to be spinning on the inside, but it's off the racing surface, and finally yellow gets thrown. That is going to be an admin thrown yellow. And that is going to be resetting these drivers again. Gregory Scholl and others. No surprise on my part on who was involved in that. Again, these are drivers that we've known that are very, very aggressive when they got 4 fresh tires, but it's going to be Gregory Shaw that's going to be starting this one. And
yeah, we don't have the replay on that one, ladies and gentlemen. The reason is because it was an admin thrown. So
yeah, Gregory Shaw got loose on the entry of turn 3, overcorrected, got on the outside wall, and just let his 66 machine drop low. And Max Foner, who was just running his own line, got collected, and then admins decided to throw a yellow on that one, which it's kind of odd that they threw a yellow for that, but not other cautions that have happened. But I mean, other contacts that happened earlier in the race. But hey, the admins are going to pick and choose what they feel like is most deemed to be an incident that needs to be reset. So we'll reset them. We'll try again. And Nick Crawford, who took 4 fresh tires, actually only took 2 tires, excuse me, on that last pit stop, is going to be in 10th. But Robert, we didn't really get a full lap there on this set of tires. Do you come in this go around? We'll find out. As Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall, are they going to come in or will they stay out?
No. Here the thing is that these cars, again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, Sam. The time just after so many laps, how do I explain this? They just basically synchronize the same speed, where it doesn't matter if you have 10 better tires, 10 lap better tires, or 10 lap better tires. You know, whatever I'm trying to say. Basically, what I'm saying is that the cars basically balance themselves out to the same amount of speed. Doesn't matter if you got fresh tires or old tires on the car. Dirty air is so key here. Just pay attention to post-race interviews, Sam. Everybody. Which Sam, I know Sam knows this. Dirty air. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Dirty air. It's so bad. You don't want to be in dirty air here. It's bad, and it just chews up the tires. So now with 20, what do we got? 25 laps to go. No, like Cody said out on YouTube, they made their bed. You might as well just stay out there. Doesn't matter what happens from 10th on back, if they get fresh tires or they don't. They're not going to be able to make up that time on tires. The time their tires fall off and your tires catch up to their falling off, the race is going to be over.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you come in now, because they only got about a lap of green flag racing, you're practically going to have the equal set if you come to pit road now. Right. But for those that have stayed out, they're going to be on 20 lap older tires. They are kind of put in a difficult spot because we're seeing now drivers coming in, Trevor Earhart and that of Dylan Walterman giving up positions, meaning Nick Crawford's now going to be moving up to 8th place. Nick Crawford has 15 lap fresher tires than the drivers ahead of him, which that is a massive advantage. The 11 is going to be one of those drivers to watch out for, but for that of Earhart and Walterman that just came in, they're going to be at a loss. They've got a lot of drivers in front of them that are going to be either damaged or going to be on, same set of tires, wear-wise, so they're going to have to kind of move their way through. It's going to be frustrating for the guys that are up front in our top 8 in our top 7, I should say, because they're kind of sitting ducks if we stay green when we take this restart.
Yeah, very true. And we'll have to see how this all plays out. Me and Sam, apparently, we both have different philosophies up here on certain things. But
I mean, dirty air to a factor works. I mean, yes, it's affecting these drivers if you're on the same set of tires, but there is a major difference between 15 lap old tires compared to freshies that you just got. You can carry so much more speed. That dirty air, yes, it's kind of a factor, but it's not a big enough one on how much speed you can carry through the corners. You can run someone over and pass them with ease. So it's going to be one of those things where the drivers that are up front in our top 7, they're sitting ducks if we stay green. But if a lot of cautions come out and we get into a green-white checkered situation, they might be able to have enough time to defend. But with how much time's left in this race, 30 laps, you can easily be passed by these drivers that have got fresher tires.
Do you think 2 tires are going to be able to stand up to even 20 lap old tires?
If you got 2 fresher tires, any fresh tires are going to be beating out these guys.
Okay.
That stayed out.
Well, guess we'll wait and see. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chaos
That's why.
about to happen.
That's why I'm the producer, everybody, and I make sure I take care of things on the background. Let these guys call the races throughout the week because I don't know. Sam knows more than I do, and that's being honest. That's just being,
Hey, we there's so many different aspects to racing. Like we noted on dirty air, tires, the different damage models that you get. There's so much out there you got to take in, and you never know which factor could be the biggest one when it comes to the end of the day until we watch it live. So we're going to be seeing it. Again, make sure you got your popcorn. You're ready to go because I don't think we're done with yellows just yet because of how different everyone's tires are. We're going to be seeing some drivers moving fast, moving forward. Others going to be moving backwards in a hurry, and we're going to find out here. It's going to be Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, Vincent Sora, Thompson. Check your top 5. Going to be less than 30 laps to go and we go green. Pace car's getting ready to make that hard left. There he goes. And it's time for us to get green once again at the European Wax Center 300 here at Las Vegas. It's the NAISCC track race car Cup Series. They're green once again, and already Cedric Hunter, great launch for himself. Zach Hall able to get in line. I think that's what they were looking for in that last restart. And now we'll see how the draft can hold on as they're already 2-3 wide. Going to be action back in 5th.
And you can see, you were just talking about it under caution there. Nick Crawford on the high side, he's got the place where he wants to be. Now here comes the question is that we didn't get a couple laps in before that last yellow. I wanted to bring it up to you, Sam. You got Cedric Hunter here, does not have a win yet. Gets a win, locks himself into the playoffs. Vincent Sora can lock himself into the playoffs. We got 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all the way back through there can lock themselves into the playoffs. So the question is now, does Cedric Hunter do everything he can to hold off Zach Hall, or is Zach Hall saying, you know what, I know I got a fast car, but I want to lock you in like I did last season and get you into the playoffs? Or does he say, I don't want you in the playoffs because you beat me last year in the playoffs?
I mean, you're hoping to have as many allies and teammates in the playoffs with you because that's a driver that's going to work with you to make sure you can advance to each and every round until you get to that championship race where the gloves are off and you're not teammates anymore. Until then, you're hoping to get every single driver you can moving forward and trying to make their advance. So I would imagine Zach Hall's going to hope to help Cedric Hunter here, but these guys are drivers. They want every win that they can get, and Nick Crawford's on the move. The 11 now going to be moving up to 4th, and now up to 3rd. He's made his move, and he knows he needs to start going quickly up front, maximize his speed because the next driver behind is Mark Whitley, but Whitley has damage, so he's not able to utilize really these fresh tires as much as he would want to. And another driver that's trying to make the charge forward is James Tremmel, but again, damage is hindering these drivers that have fresher tires.
Yeah, I think it's looking good, though, for Mark, though. I mean, as long as he can, how long does it take until that damage starts affecting him, even on fresher tires, is going to be the question, because he is sailing right through the field here right now, and we did say he could possibly move him way up to the top 5. So here he is. He's already up to 7th, nope, up to 6th position now, as he's looking underneath Vincent Sora. So, and you got Nick Crawford now going to be looking underneath Zach Hall for 2nd position here. And we'll see what he can do going into turns 3 and 4 here. And not sure if he's going to be able to pass him or not. And yeah, he does. He gets him really clear. So, everybody call up Sam at 717 Sam, and he'll be able to crew chief you.
I mean, you just look at the different styles of racing on what these guys are doing. You knew that the speed, we saw it during that green flag pit stop in the first stage, how much faster you were able to carry your tires and moving forward. Up front, we're seeing Nick Crawford making these passes for the lead as here he comes sliding up. Mark Whitley, though, with the damage, that's going to be hurting the 77. But right now, it's the difference between 2 fresh tires between those that didn't take any tires on that last caution. And then you got Mark Whitley, who took 4 fresh tires, now moving up to possibly 4th place in. Looks like he's going to make that pass, but there is the possibility of another yellow. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be back around 12th place. Patrick Hernandez has been yelled at multiple times over the radio. Very aggressive blocks by the 19 that have almost brought out yellows here tonight.
Well, we'll go back here with the 19 MSI Machine Toyota Camry and see what he's doing back here. He's running on the high side, like you said there, Sam. He's in the hornet's nest with a lot of these guys, and you said they're yelling over the scanner to try to tell him to calm down with the blocking, and it looks like looks like he's going to be able to settle it out. But these people right in front of him with Krolik and all these, and look who spun out in the beginning of the race. The underdog championship is now moved his way up to 9th position.
Yeah, and that's going to be Trevor Earhart. Earhart came in that last caution. It was only a 1-lap difference of Green Flag Racing, but the 25, he had a clean car. Yes, he spun around, but a very clean car compared to those that have been damaged and took 4 tires. And now trying to make the move. Mark Whitley going to be moving on to the high side. Little bit of shuffling, and we're starting to see that change up. Mark Whitley, 4 fresh tires. And then behind him, you got that of James Tremmel, Mark Morales, Trevor Earhart, all in the top 10. Fresh tires, that inside line's trying to move, but it's going to be that of Nick Crawford, Cedric Hunter side by side. They're blocking, defending, and no one behind them is able to get by this wall.
I was just ready to say, Cedric Hunter is blocking. He's known for blocking. He's the king of blocking. He is blocking left. He's blocking right. 2 tires is not working for Nick Crawford down on that low line, and behind him, he's just bottlenecking the rest of the field up. The rest of that field, Sam, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though, for Nick Crawford. He was able to side draft and make the side drafting work, and that dirty air was holding off the backside of this field. They're now going to be 3 wide back for the pass, going on for 6th place. As you see Earhart as well as Mark Morales, they're going to be side by side for a quick second, but you can tell that anticipation's building. They know they need to make these passes quick because the tire wear is affecting them, as well as the dirty air is hurting these drivers. And you can just see the momentum when you're on that outside lane. The runs you're getting is helping a lot of these drivers out. Now, Cedric Hunter under fire as Nick Crawford's made the pass for the lead. It's going to be Cedric Hunter and Mark Whitley now side by side as Mark Whitley's falling back. 77 doesn't have that drafting partner on the inside, and that damage hindering the 77 now as Mark Morales starting to make the charge forward. The 24 trying to make a chance possibly for a run for the lead.
Where did he come from?
I mean, Mark Morales, he was one of the cleaner drivers that was right in the middle of the field, came in same lap as the 77, and our leader currently in Nick Crawford took 4 tires.
Wow.
We're starting to see a row of those drivers that took freshies. You got Mark Whitley, Tremmel, Morales. All these drivers took tires for themselves. Thomas Walter, a driver that was just taken out, he took tires as well. So we're starting to see the transition of drivers moving forward. It's Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall. They're the only drivers that stayed out that are still in the top 10, running strong currently.
Ain't that something? Bravos to the 24 machine. No, keep it safe, buddy. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Hold on to it. We're rooting for you, but look at Jesse. No, is that Jesse? That's James in the 20. Whoa, hey, wow, he just flies right past Mark Whitley. Oh, my goodness, 16 laps to go. Sam, this is starting to heat up. We had all the front runners falling on the back on old tires. New tires are coming to the front. I'm telling you, dial 717 Sam for pit crewing.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing right now, though, Robert, is the fact that, for Mark Whitley, James Tremmel, and that of Thomas Walter, all 3 of those drivers have some type of damage, as well as that of Trevor Earhart. So they're not able to really make that pass. And what we were talking about is you have that slight advantage of tires, and then you start to equal out. Like you said, Robert, we're starting to get to that time where the tires are equaling out. You don't have that advantage anymore. 15 laps to go. Nick Crawford, who's in the lead, trying to pull away, so there's no draft help that can help these drivers that are trying their best to get by Zach Hall and Cedric Hunter. But, man, are they being a pest right now for the drivers that got fresher tires, not able to get by the Category 5 drivers of that of Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall.
Well, I didn't mean to scream in your ear there, but I thought Trevor and Mark Whitley were going to door slam each other. That 25... there it is again!
Into the wall, into drivers, and almost in holding on. Somehow the pack goes low, and no yellow gets waved. Earhart just got tired of being stuck behind, went for an aggressive move, and contact, and a wreck happens. 14 laps to go, and we still stay green, but it went from a pack of everyone almost having a chance to now just seeing the drivers up front. It is split up, and we're now only seeing about 4 drivers that have a chance to win here. Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, they're defending, holding back everyone else. It is split up where everyone's at. We went from a cluster in a pack to now everyone in our front 7 split up with a little gap between everyone there.
Yeah, that 2-tire call is going to come back and be the game winner if we stay green here, Sam. And you called it good. But yeah, the rest of it is now basically equaling out because you can see James in that 20, he just doesn't have the straight line speed. His car's pretty good in the corners with that new tires compared to, you know, Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall, but he's got so much front end damage on that 20 machine that he's losing at least 2-3 miles down the front stretch.
Yeah, he needs to be hooked up right, having someone right in front of him to utilize that draft to get going. Thomas Walter, though, that's in 5th, might have one of the better shots to start moving forward, but Walter might be too far back. We talked about the draft and that dirty air being an equalizer later in the run, and right now we're seeing all the drivers that are in our top 5 running almost identical lap times. There is no true difference between them, and that is a big issue, but everyone else that's from 7th on back, they're off by about 2 to 3 tenths because the drivers that are leading this second pack are drivers on older tires. And also, other drivers that have fresher tires, they're heavily damaged. 10 laps to go, Robert. And right now, Nick Crawford looking great currently if we stay green.
Hey, he's looking really great with that call here. But right now, we got the battle going on back here with Vincent Sora. We got James Loveland here. We got the number 5 of... who is that number 5? I do apologize.
That's Dakota Moniz in the 5.
Yeah.
Known for having terrible luck.
Yeah.
Still running well in 12th place here, but he has had a couple of scary moments, and even there, a little bit of blinking from that of James Loveland, so you got to be careful not to be involved in someone else's issue.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to get involved into the blinking, and if it's going to blink, hopefully you drive right through it here as we watch these guys here, and it looks like just everything's settling out, except for right behind him, we still got Patrick back here in the 19th. He is still battling hard side by side with Ryan. We got, who else is that? Krorik, Bird.
That's Brian Bird as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a madhouse back here, and drivers like we've noted on Monday in the truck series, we always seem to see drivers that are racing aggressively for what we call quote-unquote last place or last in line when you should be playing nice, seem to be a little bit over-aggressive, and Patrick Hernandez has been a little bit over-aggressive at times, but he's been on those older tires, so he needs to be aggressive to defend every position, and now we're starting to see with that over-aggression, people aren't playing nice with the 19 anymore, and they're starting to lose ground on our leaders.
Oh, hopefully they keep playing nice. At least 7 more laps to go here as we'll come back up here to the front here. And we got Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, and we got Nick Crawford right now with 7 laps to go here. Looking pretty good. He's got 4/10 lead over. Oh, what was that?
Oh, Robert, I think we need to take a look at possibly the times here between our leader and Cedric Hunter as the gap slowly starting to shrink down ever so slightly between Nick Crawford and Cedric Hunter. It is getting, I mean, yes, there's still a 3/10 difference, but each lap, it seems like Cedric Hunter is closing in. Yes, there's an advantage for having a 2-tire stop, but that advantage is in the early going, and you see it there. Hunter is closing in on Crawford.
I didn't think 2 tires was going to do it, man. I had a bet. I thought I was wrong. But the reason why I'm seeing this with 5 laps to go, if he holds this off, you got to give all the props to Nick Crawford's hand, because here the thing is that he is starting to get wicked loose coming out of the turns, and that's where he's losing his speed. Is that he doesn't have the grip no more to be able to get back into that gas pedal, you know, like he used to on them 2 tires, and you can see it right there. He got loose again, and he's trying to not oversteer it, you know what I mean, to where you just totally lose it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You're trying not to oversteer as much as you can, but that is, you know, the slight advantage of having a 2-tire stop is you can loosen up the car a little bit more because of how worn down the right side usually is, because you go with, the left side is, it can give you a little bit more of a back end wanting to kick out on you, but it also can carry a lot more speed in the early goings in those first 10 to 15 laps. But we are now seeing Nick Crawford, 34 laps, old tires on those right sides that he got new tires on, but at the same time, those left side tires now going to be over 40, almost 50 lap old tires, so they're starting to get worn down. Cedric Hunter now within 3/10 and getting a little bit more draft help each and every time. The question is, who's Zach Hall going to be working with? Because that is going to be really the factor here. Who does he want to pick and choose to give the straightaway draft help? And it looks like he's giving it to Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, I do believe he's going to give it to his teammate, and this is going to be huge. If Cedric Hunter can get the win, this is huge because that locks him into the playoffs. He's not locked into the playoffs yet, so, you know, we're getting down to race number 9 of 13, like we noted earlier in there. Again, you can see he was 0.5 faster, and he's got it down to 1/10. I see this being a last lap pass.
It might be a last lap pass, or it could be right here going into turn number 3. Cedric Hunter, a great launch coming at turn number 2, and now starting to inch closer and closer as we're coming at turn number 4. Nick Crawford, Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, your top 3 all within a half a second of one another, and across the line, it's your freaky fast white flag. If you'd like to sponsor the white flag, hit us up on social media because it's about to get hectic. Cedric Hunter needs to get a good launch out of turn number 2 if he wants any chance on the entry of turn 3. That's where we've been seeing all the passes to the high side, ducking it low, trying to get a little bit of a run. Here comes Hunter into turn 3, not close enough. All that Nick Crawford has to do, hold on, don't get loose out of turn 4. He doesn't, and it's time for your European Wax Center 300 victor. It's going to be Nick Crawford by just that of 0.05 of a second, a bumper, and it's good enough. Nick Crawford, a 2-time winner here this season.
Wow. All right, we went in-car, Sam, and Cedric Hunter sent it, mailed it, licked it, but didn't stamp it out of that turn. He did not let off the gas at all. He was full throttle through 3 and 4 and just almost got it. But congratulations to Nick Crawford. What a call. What a call. I mean, that is a great call. 2 tires held it off, and wow, what a race, man. What a race.
I mean, we knew it was going to be a bunch of strategy calls. Nick Crawford gets to burn it down, but you got to be thinking for all the other drivers like James Tremmel, Mark Whitley, Trevor Earhart, the what ifs. What if we were able to make our moves sooner and we weren't being, wrecking each other? Would we have been able to be up front challenging for a victory like Nick Crawford was? But what a call, 2 tires for himself. For us in Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we're going to step aside for a quick second. When we come back, we get to talk to Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, and your victor, Nick Crawford, in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your post-race show here at the European Wax Center 300 at Las Vegas for the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series. And what a run it was. Nick Crawford gambling with two-tire strategy and gets it done, gets the victory for himself. But first, let's talk to the other drivers that went for a different gamble. It's going to be that of Zach Hall, who decided to stay out. Same with his teammate, that of Cedric Hunter. Zach gets Sam up in the booth. Gotta say, going with the gutsy call of staying out for track position, third place finish. Not too bad for staying out.
Yeah, definitely not too bad, Sam. There, man. I'm really happy actually with the third. Disappointed, also because the tire strategy didn't work out there. Kind of had that one set left, and man, deep down inside, you wanted to pit. At that point, but you never know with these cautions, man. Sometimes they can get thrown, and you just you shrug your shoulders and go with it. So we felt like taking the track position there was our best bet, and luckily we were able to hang on there pretty well actually, and start to pull away from a few guys on new tires.
Yeah, this week being the fourth week of not having a faster pair in these cars, how much of that was also going through your mind on why you didn't come in for tires?
Yeah, that personally didn't go through my mind, but that is actually a huge factor that probably should have went through my mind. It's a good point there from you. So, yeah, that does change a lot of stuff up. But personally, from my standpoint as a driver, I drive the same way. If I have a fast pair, if I don't, I'm always trying to avoid stuff. But I feel like tonight I kind of changed my mentality also a little bit. So it's kind of backwards, I guess. With how I've kind of felt like I'm getting a little more aggressive tonight. I said, I feel like I get used up too much. I save too much a little bit. And I think I showed that tonight by getting up front and holding on to the lead there before the first pit stop. Luckily didn't get the stage, but man, really happy with how I kind of changed my mindset tonight and kind of got a little more aggressive on the track.
Well, third place finish is great for here tonight, Zach, but now we go on practically a full month break until we get back to points racing. What is going to be your mindset with this little bit of a break that we're getting before we get to race number 10 at Nashville?
Yeah, this is a good reset. You got the holidays coming up, so important time to be with family and gonna definitely have some fun. Be doing some F1 racing, getting that, and we'll come back to the stock car here in a few months. And I think we go to Nashville, so that'll be new. I've never been to both Nashville tracks that we're going to, so I'm excited to see how those play out, man.
Absolutely. Well, Zach, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Well, first off, shout out to you guys up in the booth. The Freaky Fast car did pretty good tonight. Glad I got to bring out the new paint scheme. I really liked it. It looked good under the lights, I think, and it showed off the Freaky Fast colors pretty well there. Um, so the Freaky Fast Chevrolet was really good. So thank you first of all to Freaky Fast, but also to my teammates out there. We had great teamwork tonight. I mean, I felt like we were on fire tonight personally as a team. We kind of were all right there in the midst of it. It personally, whoever got out front of us was probably going to win. So it was kind of one of those deals of a night. So I can't thank my team enough for racing hard, clean, everything with that. And then also the admins and everybody at the league here that puts it on. It's a great show here each and every week on Saturday nights, also Monday nights. So I love this league, man, and can't wait to get back to it here in a month or so.
That's Zach Hall in the 32 Category 5 machine. Congratulations on third place finish, excuse me, and good luck and have fun during this off season.
Thanks, man.
A little bit of an off break for these drivers for themselves. Almost a full month of break time. We'll see what Cedric Hunter's mind is as he gets into his break. But first, we'll ask Cedric what his thoughts are as we got the 13 machine up in the booth. Cedric, second place finish. You were one of the control cars figuring out did you want to come in or not? Was the thought of coming in to take tires ever a thought in those final two cautions?
Yeah, it was a thought, and kind of like I told Zach and the other guys that we had in the Discord, I felt like whatever my decision was, it was going to lose me the race. So I knew if I stayed out, it was probably going to go green, and if I pitted, then either I would have been caught. Actually, I probably would have been caught up in something, or we would have had a caution. So um, with the amount of laps that we had, I think it was just smarter to come in or to stay out. Sorry. Just I think we still had like 40 laps or 30 laps to go, and uh, we've seen so many times this season where our races will go green and then we'll always have like a late race caution, and so I was expecting that, I guess, and it didn't turn out that way. But I am just really surprised that I was able, like Zach and I were able to keep it up there and finish second and third like we did.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it was awesome to watch from our point of view. You started to catch up to that of Nick Crawford in those final 7 laps. What was going through your mind knowing that you were closing in each lap, and if you had possibly another 2 or 3 more laps, you might have been able to make the pass?
Yeah, I mean, with the tires and everything, like I knew I was eventually gonna possibly catch them just because the tires kind of fall off, but they really plateau. And Zach and I were kind of just at that point where we were running, second and a half to actually, I think it was about a second and a half off our fastest lap, and that was kind of where the tires plateaued, and that Nick was eventually going to kind of get there in that same realm as us, and as long as we stayed in the draft, we were going to keep up at least, or even gain on him a little bit. But I don't think that with the tires and everything that I would have been able to make anything happen. The only thing I could say is I think he would have probably left the bottom open. I would have sailed it off in there. uh Hopefully it sticks and that we can actually come off the corner side by side, and but then he just gets the run on the outside and we'll get that nose ahead. um so I mean, it could have played out a million different ways. I just feel that the posture, out of those million different ways, there's maybe one or two of those that actually turn out in my favor. So um I'm happy to finish second considering everything, how it played through, and it definitely could have been a lot worse, but yeah, man, I love this track, um, and I regularly get good finishes here, so it feels good.
Yeah, it was, incredible to watch you go through and recover and stay in 2nd place with all the drivers behind you guys that had fresh tires. But Cedric, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, thanks, man. As always, I want to give you guys a huge shout out. Give a huge shout out also to the fans out there tuning in. Shout out to my teammates and everybody that just helped me throughout this race. Obviously, the draft and dirty air and stuff like that, and picking the right lane was just crucial. And there's a lot of times where if you're side by side with somebody, the guy behind you kind of has to choose who he's going to help, that driver. And a lot of times I got a lot of help throughout the race. So thank you to everyone that's helped me throughout the race. Thank you to the admins and everybody that makes NAICC what it is. So I enjoy running this league, and I look forward to the rest of the season.
That's going to be Cedric Hunter in the 13th, 2nd place finish here tonight. And good luck with a little break that we're getting here for almost a month.
Yeah, thanks, man.
As now we head to victory lane, where we find ourselves with the 11 of Nick Crawford. Nick, you went for a gutsy call, went with 2 tires going on that last time you came into pit road. Those 2 tires were just enough to get you up front. Man, what was going through your mind first coming into pit road to take 2 tires, and then also what was going through your mind there in those final couple of laps?
Well, if you don't know already, I am born in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas, so you got to take bets. You got to take the odds sometimes. You got to take the underdog. And I saw that everybody else wasn't pitting. The race was going green a lot. So I was like, let me come down pit road, and worst thing that could happen, I finished like 5th or 7th, 8th, something like that. So that was the call on that. Luckily, those top guys didn't pit, and the cautions kind of worked out there. And then I don't know why, but 2 cars on that last caution pit with 2 to go. So that really helped out. But the biggest struggle was definitely working with the draft. Even with newer tires, I'm sure you guys saw it was really hard to get past Cedric.
Yeah, it really looked extremely tough from up above, and then you finally did get by him, but you got yourself over a half a second gap, and then you saw that gap dwindling away at the end. What was going through your mind when you started to see, Cedric was getting help from Zach on the straightaways, and you had to try to defend all on your lonesome?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty upset. It's not their fault, but yeah, just the way it works with this package is the draft is king. Even if you have 10, 15 newer tires, as long as they're working together, the draft it overpowers that. But it was really just about placing the car in front of Cedric. That way, he's getting dirty air off turn 4. It was really bad, and your car got really tight. So just kind of taking away that clean air from him the best I can. I knew he was gonna get there, but I didn't know when.
Well, Nick, congratulations on your victory here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Oh yeah, first I want to say sorry to Mark again. I look back at it, definitely my fault on that part. I want to shout out to my beautiful wife, my best supporter here at home. And then also want to make another little shout out to my dad. He passed away back in July, and we used to go to this racetrack and we would go watch the race on Sunday, the Cup cars, and it's really nice to get a win here first time.
Yeah, that is an incredible thing. Get a win here, home track, and for memory of your dad. Nick, congratulations on the win. Victor here at Las Vegas, your second win of the season, and have a great break here as we'll see you guys back here racing on action on the 8th of January. We'll see you in the new year, Nick.
Okay, thank you guys. You have a good night.
You too. As we're done with our interviews, we'll take a look unofficially at where the drivers lied here at the end of Las Vegas. 150 laps, 300 miles, and Nick Crawford, with the gutsy call of taking 2 tires, gets the victory, with Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall on those older tires able to defend quite well, staying in the top 3. James Stremmel, who took 4 tires, was able to get 4th place even with a damaged car. Tom Sinchek in 5th. 6 goes to Thomas Walter. Trevor Earhart, even with all the scares that he's had, bumps, scrapes, spins, gets a 6th place finish. Gets a 7th place finish. Brian Johnson with an 8th place. Vincent Sora, Dakota Moniz going to get a top 10. Congratulations to Dakota Moniz getting a top 10 finish for himself, needing this momentum to change here as we've got 3 more races left in this regular season before we get to that of our playoffs. So drivers need all the momentum. As we take a look at the rest of the results, we see drivers that were hoping for better days. Mark Whitley, 21st position finish for himself. Aaron Kralik, our pole sitter, getting 14th. Drivers scattered all over the place, but it was the conquering of Category 5 and the Allies up front. As for my final thoughts, got to say, crazy race, very unknown, but I think for a lot of these drivers, they're ready for a little bit of a cool down after the chaos they just had here tonight. They got the All-Star race next week that we will not be covering, and then a little bit of a longer break because of New Year's. So we'll be back for that of the 8th of January. Robert, it's a long break, but I'll let you have the final call of the night.
All right. Well, thank you, man. Hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as it's good to see Nick Crawford take home the home track win here. He finally gets that victory here at Las Vegas. Can finally put that check mark on this track and say, look, I'm done. I finally got it. I'm sure he's going to want more, but when you come to a home track, every single driver out there always has got a home track, and always has got that one track that they want to check off their checklist for getting a win. And for Nick Crawford, this was one of them. And you heard him talk about his dad and stuff like that. So congratulations for him getting that win. Sorry for your loss there, Nick, and everything else. But with that being said here, I also just want to real quick, anybody that goes back and watches this replay and watches this stream, we do here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting want to give our final thoughts to everybody in Mayfield, Kentucky, and everybody else in that surrounding area that got hit last night by a tragic tornado that ripped through some cities and towns and just wiped everything out. It's sad. It's sad to see 2 weeks out before Christmas and their life and things like that has been uplifted. So I don't want to end this stream on a sour note, but we got to just give our thoughts and prayers to them down there, and hopefully, and let them know that God is with you, and everything will work out eventually, and go talk to somebody if you're having a hard time with certain things, because it's going to be tough for the next couple months for them. So make sure you go check out the Red Cross. Also, to help bring up the Red Cross, we do got a charity race coming up here, and January 7th, Friday, right before we come back to these guys here on Saturday night. We're going to have a 6-hour event at Daytona here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As of right now, we got 15 to 16 teams signed up for it. So make sure you go check out our social media platform on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. There is a post on our Facebook page on exactly how to sign up for it, how to get your team registered into it, and this is all for all the good causes for juvenile diabetes. But we also say too, we would love you to donate to juvenile diabetes, of course. But with the tragedy that just happened, we are going to be putting a link to the Red Cross coming up in the link to the descriptions for that charity race too, so you can help them out or help the juvenile diabetes. Me personally, Sam, up here at the booth, I don't care. Help somebody. This is the time of people's needs. This is a time of loving and giving, and stuff like that. So with me saying that, again, our next televised broadcast will be tomorrow night with SRU. So we'll see how that all plays out tomorrow night, as we'll have David Medina and Zach Hall, your third place finisher, calling all the action. So make sure you tune in at 7:50 for all that action. But if you only tune in here on Saturday night, like Sam said, we'll catch everybody back here in 3 weeks, January 8th. So everybody have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. Here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, want to tell everybody, be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one. But until then, God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.